Get ready to be inspired by the incredible story of a boy who refused to let his past define him. Despite being abandoned by his mother and shuffled from one orphanage to another, he never gave up on his dreams. Though he struggled academically due to his tumultuous upbringing, he found his true calling later in life when he joined the Marine Corps. Through his service, he developed the resilience and tenacity necessary to overcome any obstacle. Determined to pursue higher education, he took out a business loan to buy a pizzeria, hoping to use the profits to pay for his tuition. Little did he know that this decision would lead to the creation of a billion-dollar pizza empire that would revolutionize the entire industry. With his unwavering dedication and unstoppable drive, he turned Domino's Pizza into the modern pizza chain that we know and love today. Thomas Stephen Monaghan's early life was a study in hardship and perseverance. Born in 1937 in the college town of Ann Arbor, Michigan, he was the eldest son of Francis and Anna Monaghan, an older brother to Jim Monaghan. But with his father's passing in 1941, the Monaghan family found themselves struggling to make ends meet. Despite her best efforts, Tom's mother was unable to support both him and his younger brother on her meager salary of $28 a month. Desperate and with no other options available, Tom and his brother were placed in foster care until their mother could train as a nurse and reclaim them. But the foster system of the time was far from perfect, and Tom was shuffled from one home to another until he finally landed at St. Joseph's Home for Boys, an orphanage run by the Felician Order of Nuns in Jackson, Michigan. There, he spent the next 6 years of his life. Finally, his mother was able to reclaim him and his brother, but life with her was far from easy. By this point, Tom barely knew his mother and had become accustomed to the regimented life of the orphanage. Nevertheless, he persevered, driven by a fierce determination to succeed against all odds. The challenges that Tom faced in his early life only served to make him stronger and more resilient. Through his struggles, he developed an unshakable faith in himself and his abilities, which would serve him well in the years to come. Despite the many obstacles in his path, he refused to give up on his dreams and went on to achieve great success in business, leaving an indelible mark on the world of pizza and beyond. Despite Tom's strong work ethic, demonstrated by his door-to-door sales and newspaper selling, his rebellious behavior at home caused tension with his mother, leading to his return to foster care after only 2 years. In high school, Tom was drawn to Catholicism and aspired to become a priest after living with nuns in an orphanage. However, he was expelled from St. Joseph's Seminary in Grand Rapids, Michigan, for repeatedly breaking rules. Tom returned to living with his mother, but his behavior eventually led to his placement in a detention home for 6 months. He graduated high school with poor grades and was unable to afford college tuition. Seeking to better himself, Tom joined the U.S. Army to access educational opportunities, but mistakenly filled out an application for the U.S. Marine Corps instead. After finishing his 2-year service with the Marines in 1959, Tom Monaghan was given an honorable discharge and was also able to gain admission into the University of Michigan to fulfill his dream of becoming an architect. While gaining admission into the university meant he was succeeding at getting his life back on track, there was still the issue of tuition, and money saved up from his service wasn't going to cover it. Almost like fate, Tom's brother Jim brought him a proposition to buy out a small pizzeria that was up for sale in Ypsilanti, Michigan named DomiNick's. Both brothers agreed to the deal, and with a loan from the credit union, they were able to purchase the small business. Tom agreed to work at night and attend classes at the university during the day, while Jim would handle the daily routines. They had initially thought of changing the name of the business, but eventually agreed that DomiNick's Pizza sounded a lot better than Monaghan's Pizza. Before the previous owner of the pizzeria left, he gave the brothers some lessons in the art of making pizzas. Tom took more of an obvious interest and soon found himself in love with making pizzas. He recalls loving the feel of rolling out the dough and being obsessed with making the best pizza sauce he had ever tasted. Tom visited other pizzerias in the area to scope out the competition and found that not many offered quick and efficient delivery services. He soon hired 2 former factory workers to work as delivery men, and the new delivery model seemed to be taking off. But as the business became more demanding, Tom's partnership with his brother suffered as Jim's main job as a mailman prevented him from giving ample time to the business. Eventually, both brothers decided to part ways, and Tom bought out Jim's part of the bushes in exchange for a 1959 Volkswagen Beetle they were using as a delivery van. But even Tom himself couldn't juggle being a full-time student and business owner, and he eventually had to drop out of school to devote his life to his now expanding business. By 1961, the business had grown so much that Tom opened a second pizzeria in Ypsilanti, was now hiring hourly employees, and even took on a new partner, Jim Gilmore. The following year, with his new partner, they opened a third store in Ypsilanti called Pizza King, which was located on the University of Michigan campus. This particular store saw immediate success as university students flocked to the pizzeria. By 1965, they had opened 5 stores, but as it turned out, Jim Gilmore had accumulated debt over the years, which affected Tom as everything was in the Monaghan name. This led to the partnership being dissolved, and Gilmore receiving a $20,000 payout and 2 stores. Now the sole owner of the entire business, Tom decided it was time to franchise his pizzerias and was in search of a new name. As luck would have it, one of his delivery drivers, Jim Kennedy, came up with the name Domino's. Tom liked it so much that it became the name from there on out. Tom also came up with a new logo for his franchise, featuring a red and blue domino with 3 dots, which represented the 3 stores. He intended to increase the number of dots on the logo as the number of stores increased, but soon proved futile. Domino's Pizza was taking off in the mid to late 60s, owing to Tom's business model. He set strict guidelines for the ingredients used in making his pizzas. The dough and sauce were made to absolute perfection and followed a strict recipe across all stores. Also, he removed all other food options from the menu, focusing exclusively on pizzas, and made all his stores delivery or takeout options only. Domino's also offered hot pizza in 30 minutes at all stores, or your money back guaranteed. Domino's also developed the corrugated cardboard box, which allows for multiple pizza boxes to be stacked on each other without squishing the pizza and keeping it hot as well. This new box allowed for multiple pizza deliveries simultaneously, and has since become a standard for home-delivered pizza boxes all over the world. The business showed no sign of slowing down, with at least 2 new stores opening almost monthly, and by 1978, Domino's had expanded to over 200 stores across the country. 1983 was a special year for both the Domino's franchise and Tom Monaghan, as the first international Domino's opened in Winnipeg, Canada. This marked the 1,000th store for Domino's, with the franchise now raking in millions in annual income. It was also a special year for Monaghan as he fulfilled a childhood dream when he purchased the Detroit Tigers baseball team from John Fetzer for $53 million. Tom has always been a devout fan of the Tigers, and as luck would have it, the Tigers went on to win the World Series the following year. By the mid-80s, there were at least 3 new Domino's opening daily across the world, which was unheard of as pizza and Coca-Cola were the only things on the menu. With Domino's seeing unprecedented success in the pizza business, it came as a shock when Tom Monaghan reportedly sold off his 93% ownership of Domino's for an estimated $1 billion. His reason for this was that he intended to devote his time to charity work related to children's issues, as well as strengthening his support for the Catholic Church. But even with Monaghan no longer playing an active role in the business, he had already set the groundwork for Domino's success. The franchise has grown to be one of the most successful food chains in the world and remains the premier choice for pizza worldwide. Domino's has now over 15,000 stores worldwide, with more than 5,000 in the United States, and India being its second largest market, with over 1,500 stores. There are Domino's stores in over 83 countries with over 300,000 employees globally. A business with an initial capital of $500 is now worth over $14 billion. From a troubled boy with no stable home and poor grades to a global business mogul, Tom Monaghan has built a legacy with Domino's Pizza, a legacy now worth billions of dollars and providing employment and mouth-watering food all over the world.